make, the more you have to pay in taxes, right? Well, not always.
미국에서는 소득이 많을수록 급여에서 원천징수 되는 비율이 높아집니다. 그러나 부자들은 일반적으로 세금 코드를 잘 활용하여 세율을 낮출 수 있습니다.
The rich are different from you and me, as the old saying goes, in large part because the sources of their income are different.
억만장자 워렌 버핏의 경우를 봅시다. 그는 비서를 포함한 다른 직원들보다 본인 세금 비율이 더 적다고 자주 말했습니다. 그 이유는 그의 인컴 대부분이 근로소득이 아니라 주식에서 나오기 때문입니다.
The great thing about stocks is that you aren't taxed till you sell them. And even then, the taxes are typically lower than the rates on wage income.
So if you ask people, what bothers you most about the tax code, complexity is a common answer, but also the feeling that the wealthy don't pay their fair share, or the feeling that corporations don't pay their fair share.
2018년 아마존은 전 세계적으로 2,320억 달러 이상의 매출을 올린 것으로 유명하지만 연방 세금은 0달러였습니다. 그리고 2020년에는 페덱스와 나이키를 포함한 미국 대기업 중 최소 55개 회사도 연방 정부에 법인 소득 세금을 지불하지 않았습니다.
There's a great Supreme Court case with Judge Hand going many years ago that it's not the taxpayer's responsibility to pay the most taxes that he can. It's the taxpayer's responsibility to pay the least taxes that he can. There's even a rule within the IRS code that if you want to pay more taxes, you can write a check to the United States Treasury and you can take a tax deduction for that.
그러나 세금 감면은 경제 활성화에 기여한 납세자들에게 보상하기 위한 정책이라고 전문가들은 말합니다.
Individuals who are not again contributors in terms of real estate and businesses, they don't get tax benefits, but it's because they are not contributing to, the economic growth at a larger scale.
그렇다면 부자들은 절세를 위해 세금 코드를 어떻게 이용할까요? 부자들의 세금 코드 활용하는 방법을 알아보려면 먼저 그들 자산의 출처를 살펴봐야 합니다.
The biggest loopholes arise when you have assets. Most Americans don't have assets. All they are depending upon is their income from their salary from their employer. So if you have someone who has assets such as business and real estate, again, they are unlocking different areas of the tax code that most individuals do not get to explore.
You can think of someone's wealth as being comprised of separate assets which fit into one of three different tax buckets: taxable, tax-deferred, and tax-free.
여러분의 인컴은 오로지 근로소득만 있는 경우 여러분의 모든 자산은 텍서블 영역에만 있습니다. 그러나 부자들은 텍서블 인컴으로 간주하지 않은 자산으로 옮기려는 경향이 있습니다. 그중 일부는 개인 은퇴 계좌와 같이 연방 세금이 적용되지 않으며 텍스 디퍼드 영역에 있는 투자 계좌입니다. 이것은 주식 포트폴리오의 가치가 올라가면 그 이익을 실현하기 전까지는 그 이익에 대해 세금을 내지 않아도 됩니다. 그리고 이익에 대한 세율은 일반적으로 급여소득에 대한 세율보다 낮습니다.
Capital gains can be avoided in life and also largely avoided in death. And so that's highly advantageous to high income, high wealth people.
캐피탈 게인은 채권과 부동산에도 적용됩니다. 부동산이나 자동차, 보트와 같은 것을 생각해 보십시오. 올바른 텍스 플래닝을 적용하면 예전의 자본 이익으로 큰 자본 손실이 있는 회계연도에 그 손실을 상쇄할 수 있습니다. 또한 사망 시 상속인에게 투자 포트폴리오를 양도하는 경우 세금을 완전히 건너뛸 수 있습니다. 이 이외에도 자산을 소유하면 세금을 줄일 수 있는 방법들은 많이 있습니다.
If you own real estate, you can now deduct things as depreciation, real estate taxes, property taxes. Even if you are not investing in real estate to get rental income, even if it's your primary residence, you can itemize your tax deductions on a Schedule A, which can also lowerly affect your tax liability. On the other hand, if you do have rental properties, you can take advantage of depreciation, your expenses related to your real estate property, and earn some extra income while paying minimal tax on that additional income that you are earning.
And these strategies are just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole patchwork of ways to drive down that annual tax bill.
There's not some magic deduction or magic credit that people overlook. And once I tell you it, ooh, you're going to get a $10,000 refund. What there is a myriad of rules, opportunities, and options to lower your taxes. I'll give you a simple example. There's almost 12 different tax breaks for higher education, whether it be the tuition and fees deduction, 529 plans where you can put money in an account and have it grow tax-free.
Borrowing against the value of real estate or borrowing against the value of insurance policies. For example, you can take out a life insurance policy with a high cash dividend and then borrow against that from a bank. The bank sees that as an actual asset, may loan up to 90% of the value of that life insurance policy. That loan is effectively income to you, but in the tax code, it's not considered income or a capital gain. So it's tax-free. So there's these kinds of techniques that can be used if you have a lot of income and a lot of assets that are just not available to ordinary people that don't have that kind of disposable income.
2013년 그래미상 수상자인 로릴 힐은 230만 달러의 이상의 소득을 보고하지 않아 3개월 징역, 3개월 가택 감금, 6만 달러의 벌금형을 선고받았습니다. 그녀뿐만 아닙니다. 할리우드의 유명 인사들 중 일부는 세금을 내지 않아 국세청과 심각한 충돌을 빚고 있습니다.
To be clear, these are all examples of tax evasion, which is illegal, not to be confused with tax avoidance, which is legal, even if it is deemed unfair by large swaths of the population.
Tax evasion is illegal and is actually punishable for up to 5 to 20 years in prison.
And the law is pretty black and white. There may be some new grayness on things like cryptocurrency, and other new innovations in the world. But most of the time, you know it when you owe it. And I can certainly tell whether you owe taxes or not on a situation. But when people come in with fabricated dependents, made up deductions, phantom partnership losses, that's when you get into evasion. And evasion's the line crosser.
Those sophisticated tax strategies that we just talked about, they are all totally legal ways to avoid paying more taxes than you absolutely must.
Tax avoidance, on the other hand, is utilizing the tax code to benefit you in the way that is legal. So if there is a deduction for you having a dependent or you being able to expense something through a business, as long as you're following the tax code and the guidelines, you can take these tax positions.
로렌스 서머스 전 재무장관에 따르면 IRS의 느슨한 집행 덕분 때문에 상위 1% 납세자의 세금 회피 규모는 2029년도까지 5조 달러를 초과할 수 있다고 보고했습니다. 이 보고서에 따르면 상위 1% 사람들이 축소보고의 약 70%를 차지하고 있다고 합니다. 그렇다면 고소득자들이 조세 회피 쪽으로 가는 이유는 무엇일까요? 전문가들은 많은 것들이 텍스 플래닝에 달려 있다고 합니다.
Wealthy individuals, tax plan. Most Americans don't have a tax plan. And a tax plan is going to encompass the CPA or tax accountant to go into the new stimulus package or new tax reform and actually look at how they can use the new changes in the code to benefit their clients. These wealthy individuals have that guidance throughout the year to get them to a more reasonable position by year end.
세금 회피는 납세자들이 세금 코드를 이용하여 연방 의원들이 의도한 수준 이하로 세금을 줄이는 전략입니다.
In other words, it's a technicality that lets the filer avoid a law without directly violating it. Not everyone likes the connotation.
Yeah, loophole's kind of a bad word. I'm not even sure what loophole means because it's either legal or it's not legal. And if it's legal, then it's not really a loophole. I would put forth it's a best practice. And what I would tell you, some of the best practice, not of just high-income earners, but any smart, savvy taxpayer, is to take advantage of all the tax rules in the law.
일단 세금 코드에 포함되면 세금 허점을 제거하기가 매우 어렵습니다. 이를 통해 내야 하는 세금으로부터 돈을 저축함으로써 혜택을 받는 사람들뿐만 아니라 로비스트의 후원 혜택을 받는 사람들이 생깁니다.
Sometimes they're not partisan because they are more about protecting a given economic sector or even specific businesses, and that has to do more with the locale. It might be more about what parts of the country, what states, what congressional districts have a certain economic sector that's very important.
Essentially, the U.S. tax system creates an incentivized system for those who aspire to achieve wealth. And here's why. you get tax credits for having a business or having real estate. In that act, you are creating opportunities to employ people or creating opportunities to house people. Unemployment and homelessness are two of the major concerns for any government. So why not give tax incentives to those who are going to assist in creating a way to aid these issues? So if you close out tax loopholes and tax incentives, we don't know what the outcome would be, because this can potentially discourage individuals who are contributing to the vast growth of our economy to not make those contributions at a more accelerated rate.
야당의 공세에도 불구하고 세금 정책 허점을 메울지 여부에 대한 질문은 선거 때와 새로운 행정부에서 많이 합니다. 바이든 정권을 예로 들자면 대통령은 현재 세금 코드에서 허점들을 찾아보고 있습니다. 그가 성공할지는 두고 봐야 알겠지만 말이죠.